So for this video, I wanted to highlight a mid-range assassin list that I've been playing and having a lot of fun on, and it's been pretty successful. This is a list that I actually had highlighted in a deck testing video a while back, and it's mostly the same. There's been a couple of slight changes, but it's held up. I've kind of put it through the ringer, and it's still producing solid results for me, so I thought I would finally do like an official deck spotlight video. And there's like 3 mini sub packages within the list that all kind of complement each other. And somehow, some way, despite having all of these different working pieces, they interact well enough with each other that they don't trip over each other, and you can get away with it. So first up, pretty easy one to highlight because it's kind of just like a 2-card combo, but it is worth mentioning, is this list runs Vigilant Ancestor and it runs Dress Renegade, right? So that's package number 1, if you will. And Dress Renegade is nice because there's a decent amount of Shackle running around. There's a lot of Sorcerer on the ladder, for example, and they're running Harpies, and I've also seen some item decks that are running Maces, things like that, that Dragonstar Rider deck running around. And the Renegade can be a nice surprise option for freeing things up. It's also a 4/4 for 4 with a keyword, which isn't terrible. But again, it really makes your Vigilant Ancestors a threat, and so having both of them together is great. Now, Vigilant Ancestor kind of leans into part 2 of the sub package, if you will, and that is I am running 2 Mighty Conjurings, and I am also running 3 Awakened Dreamers. So this is the 5 attack power or more kind of sub package, and Ancestor helps trigger Conjuring, and it also helps trigger Awakened Dreamer. And as a result of that, we also have some other enablers, right? So this list is running Telvanni because it provides a nice source of burst, but again, the sword on any of your 2 attack power creatures is enough to start triggering Dreamer. So you can put it on the Dreamer itself and it'll self-trigger. You can put it on your ward creatures and they trade up very well, and then again they start triggering either Dreamer or Mighty Conjuring. Just good quality ways to get 5 attack power in the list. And then there's a bunch of creatures that just naturally have 5 attack power, like the Ancestor. We've also got Encano, we've got Queen Baronzia. There's also Gambler and Mournhold Trader, for example, naturally have 4 attack power, as do Renegade and Royal Sage. And so the pair of Crown Quartermasters with their dagger is another great way to just quickly jump to 5 attack power, start triggering those. And then the last part of the list is kind of what it's named after. I call it Jacksassin, and that's Manic Jack. So we do have Manic Jack, a pair of Lesser Wards. We do have the Royal Sage in here as well. Gnarl Rootbender works really well with Lesser Ward. It also works really well with Manic Mutation. And it has 5 attack power, so it helps trigger Conjuring and Dreamer. So as you can see, just a lot of like things that interact pretty well with each other, on top of what Assassin does best, in my opinion, which is provide a lot of reach or burst. We still have Lightning Bolts, we still have Cliff Racers. Telvanni provides some extra punch as well. You still have Encano. So Tazcat at the end is there. It's just got a good solid core, right? So if you're playing mid-range, you're playing tempo, most of the things that you want are here in some way, shape, or form or another. You're not really going all in on any one strategy, right? This is the perfect Manic Jack deck because it's a jack of all trades. It kind of does everything a little bit well and nothing like supremely well, but it's been successful for me. And if you just play solid mid-range fundamentals, you know, keep an eye on the board, fight for it when necessary, attack face when you have the tempo in your favor, close out games when you think you can draw into your burst or your reach, yada yada. You're going to have success with this list, and it's also just nice because it's not something that's really popular on the ladder, so you can catch people by surprise. It is not an endurance-based list. It is not an aggressive list. I mean, it can play aggressively, but this is not what I would call an aggro deck. It's certainly not a control deck. There's no, squish the wimpy in here. It's just not something that people are used to playing against, and that surprise factor is also working really well for me. So anyway, this is the list. Now that I've kind of went over it, I'm going to do what I always do in these deck spotlight videos, and we're going to put up a couple of games so you can see it in action, and let's go do that now. All right, here we go. Looks like we're going to be going second against Telvanni. Big bad voodoo Telvanni. And I think we're going to get rid of these. I don't really like Telvanni as a proactive 2-drop if I can help it. Like, you can play it in a pinch, but there's enough other 2-drops in here that I think it's worth waiting for more. And the Gambler is a pretty safe keep here. And then, of course, we just draw one anyway. We're going to hide this over here. Just on the off chance they run something weird with charge, though the real threat here at 3 is something like Reverberating Strike or Crushing Blow. And we get another Root Bender anyway. So we'll go ahead and attack this. And
care to make a friendly wager?
We'll get rid of one of the Royal Sages this time around. And now we're worried about things like Lightning Bolt, etc. Okay. So they're doing a great job of slowing us down. And if you're wondering, the reason that I keep going Shadow Lane here is primarily... we'll go ahead and do this as well.
I keep a spare
because we're trying to hide from Territorial Viper. Typically you want to take control of the field lane with a mid-range deck and you want to start there, but against something like Viper you want to do this. Oh gods, okay. That's not a great start for us. That is an awful lot of resiliency available to our opponent. And yeah, that is a bit of an issue. So here we would like to develop Royal Sage, but we also want Manic Jack to get the buff, and we also want to trade with this because we don't want it to trade into here. So the ordering here is pretty important. We want to put a dagger here so that this can attack and get them to 29, which will activate our Sage.
I see you're in need of my wisdom.
And even though this got breakthrough, we don't want to attack into here because we're trying to dodge Ice Storm, and this is already 3 OS, so we'll go ahead and take this as the trade. And you had to do the trade afterwards because they were going to gain health from that. And then we'll attack with Manic Jack there.
This should help you.
Okay, so we eat a Shadowfen. That's a bit unfortunate for us, but not the end of the world. And now we have a amazing audio bug working against ourselves here. Alright, let's go ahead with the rally. Let's, I guess, attack with this.
Let's do the fish.
This. It's kind of funny that the Satanine got this. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. That's rather unfortunate. And I guess in this instance, we're going to go ahead with a Root Bender and a Dreamer. The Dreamer will grow from the Root Bender. So again, we've got a number of cards that can potentially still survive Ice Storm. That's the big concern at the moment.
We can't anticipate.
And we have a lot of reach in our hand. Man, I am really sorry about this audio bug, gang. This was not what I was hoping for. So of course, when I am recording for YouTube, I'm running into an absolutely horrific audio bug here. And so now the question becomes, do we have enough? I don't think the answer is yes here. We've only got 10, 18. We're actually 1 short of lethal at the moment, which is unfortunate. But since we are 1 short,
let's do the fish.
I guess we'll take this trade and now become 3 short. And go about this a different way. We're going to go ahead and put this here to try to protect these again if they want to trade in and activate an Ice Storm.
The watch is mine.
And I think we're actually going to hold because I don't want to discard anything with this, and I want to leave our surprising amount of burst as a surprise. So we're gonna do this.
The Black Hand sees all.
Alright, that's also unfortunate, because that's even more drain. But I think that we have managed to do exactly what we were hoping to do here. because Sedanine
Come bearing gifts.
and Sedanine are going to get us up to 10. And so unless they have some sort of prophecy that gains them health, the lightning bolt will get it to the job done, and that's why I wanted to save it as a surprise. So there you have it. That's a great way to beat Telvanni, which I know is an annoying deck for some people. And I know I was annoyed in that game because of that audio bug, so I am sorry. Let's hope that the next game does not have that happen, because I feel really bad about that. All right, so going first against Crusader, and this is likely going to be some version of like token or heretic Crusader. We're looking for a 2-drop here, but I really like keeping these 2. If they're in the opener, typically what you're really hunting for is an Awakened Dreamer. Going 2, 3, 4 Dreamer, Ancestor, Renegade is like the dream opener for this particular list, just because the Dreamer at a 2-3 is a respectable 2-drop. You can drop this usually in the same lane to protect it, because then people will not want to crash into this, and then the Dreamer grows, and then when you drop this down the following turn, suddenly this can now attack, and then they want to get rid of this, and so they have to crash into this, but then you're still protecting your Dreamer with the 4-4 at that point, and so on and so forth. So that's like your dream scenario, and sadly we didn't get that. In fact, we don't find a 2-drop here. We're kind of in a world of hurt. And alright, well, maybe it is not heretic.
I come bearing gifts.
I'm fine with using a Sedanine here. Again, typically I don't like to use this, but it looks like we're going to be on the back foot a bit in this particular matchup. And so while I like to save this for burst and I don't like to use it as a proactive 2-drop, this is one of those instances where it makes a lot of sense. Because if we can trade here and then whatever they play next isn't enough to kill this outright, then we can play this to defend further.
The Nords must take back.
Alright, so instead, we're sadly still punished. And now we have some decisions to make. Ancestor trades, Wordcrafter potentially trades as well. But I really would like to get Ancestor down before playing the Renegade the following turn. And once Renegade trades with this, like, we'll take one shot of this, but Renegade here potentially eats that, but it still allows this to attack, and then we can maybe try to race them, because we'll have the Queen coming down later as well, and the Queen is very, very beneficial. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see how bad we're punished for being greedy. Because that's 100% what this is. This is a greed play. I could just trade this here, but then we're still on our back foot. There is also the possibility we just catch a prophecy here. That would be really nice. Like a lightning bolt. Lightning bolt would be great. No lightning bolt. Fair enough. Well, there's the lightning bolt we were looking for. I think this is still correct, though. We're going to take even more damage, but at least it allows us to start attacking back. And as I said, our goal here at this point is to even things out with the Queen. If we get this down and it lives even for a turn, or we get one successful drain off of it, then we're in a much better position. Ooh, that's not great for us, though.
Let's do this.
So,
let's do this.
This is a red-based Crusader, it would appear.
Attack!
Alright.
Sniveling coward! For the rift!
There's a prophecy. That makes me feel a bit better. Alright, so let's do this first.
I am the Queen Mother.
Let's go with the Queen, and then we're actually going to take a risk here and see if we can get charge. And we did not. Charge or ward are both incredibly acceptable there, and we're really only punished by guard in that scenario, because then if she gets guard, charge creatures could take her out. But we were favored mathematically there, so.
Let's see if we can't reach an arrangement.
Come at
catch a
me.
bit of a break that he can't change this over immediately. And as such, what we're looking to do now is play Telvanni,
Gifts.
because
Well played.
we really want to get this drain in.
We are not amused.
And it's really a shame that we're not a bit closer to lethal here. Really is a shame. Now we have this lightning bolt. Technically killing this pulls off 6 damage, which makes the most sense. And potentially more, because if they have things like Raiding Party, then that's a big activator. So since we don't have lethal, we'll just use the lightning bolt there. And then we just need any of our creatures to survive, because Cliff Racer will finish. And we need to not die, obviously, but going up to 15 means this is less likely to transform. So this should be good. There was some risk involved with this play, right? But sometimes you have to be a bit risky. This felt like the kind of game where you were going to be on your back foot, and typically in these like either aggro matches where you're like you're both trying to be the aggressor or be proactive, if you fall behind, sometimes you have to take risks in order to catch up, in order to be you know, flipping things to where you are being proactive, and you really only ever need to catch like one break when that happens, at least in my experience. You just need one break. So if that's, you know, a Harpy Prophecy would have been great. Obviously Lightning Bolt was great, but just something to kind of flip it in your favor. We happen to get it this time around, so it's good for us. And that's going to be game. So Queen will... and we got another bolt. Queen will take us to victory. So anyway, that's the list. You got to see it against an aggressive deck and see kind of what you need to do if you're playing from behind. And you also got to see it against a control deck. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Like I said, I really like the list. I think it's fun, and it's nice to just play something different, and certainly that's not popular on the ladder at the moment. So hopefully you enjoyed the list and the video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.